The Bad Guys is the latest film from Universal Pictures and DreamWorks. It's based on the blockbuster book series by Aussie author Aaron Blabey, stars Sam Rockwell, Awkwafina, Anthony Ramos, Mark Maron, Craig Robinson, Zazie Beetz, and Richard Ayoade. It's directed by Pierre Parafel and opens in Australian cinemas on March 31st, 2022. Before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button down below. It does wonders in getting my content out there. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to keep up to date with all my content. After years of countless heists and being the world's most wanted villains, Mr. Wolf and his crew finally get caught. A deal is brokered to save them all from prison. The bad guys will go good. About 4 months ago, Universal reached out to me and asked if I wanted to check out an early preview of The Bad Guys. This was about 20 minutes worth of the film. Some of it was in complete animation. Some of it was in a more kind of rougher, more conceptual stage of the animation process. And this was a movie that I hadn't heard of until that time. But as soon as I got to see this preview, I knew that this was going to be one of my most anticipated movies of 2022, animated or otherwise. This is a movie that just sounds so cool on paper, and after having seen the preview, I just knew that this movie was going to be just absolutely awesome. About a month and a half ago, Universal reached out and said, do you want to finally check out the whole movie? And I got to check it out very, very early. From the time that I'm uploading this, it's been about a month and a half since I got to see it. So I have been sitting on my thoughts for this entire time. I haven't been able to say anything about what I've thought about this movie. So I'm really excited to finally get all my thoughts out there into the world. For the last month or two, I've been working my way through every single one of the DreamWorks animation movies. I'm planning on doing like a bunch of ranking videos like what I did with the Disney movies a couple of years ago. So this was really cool to get this movie at the time that I did. The Bad Guys is quite easily the best movie that DreamWorks has put out for a very, very, very long time. I absolutely adored this movie. Every single element of this just really, really works for me. This is based on a series of books by Australian author Aaron Blabey, and they're very simplistic children's books. They're kind of drawn like comics with just the characters and the dialogue and all of that. They're so fun. They're great, fun little books. I know I'm outside of the target demographic for them, but they are really fun, simple books. What this movie does is it takes the concept of those books and expands it into this wildly exciting, hilarious, action-packed heist caper film. It is just the most bonkers thing that you could imagine, and it just works so, so well. Throughout the promotion of this movie, the creators have said numerous times, this is a project which is kind of like Quentin Tarantino film for kids. And it is a heist caper, which throws back to stuff like Ocean's 11 and Baby Driver and The Sting and all great kind of movies like that. It's got action-adventure vibes in there like the Jason Bourne movies. Kind of throws all of this into a blender and makes this really super cool, super slick animated movie. This is a movie that left me with a smile on my face from beginning to end. This is a really exciting movie. It's got so much comedy in there. It has an incredible, incredible ensemble cast who all deliver really fantastic characters and all kind of get their little moments to shine. They'll get these great one-liners, these great visual gags that almost kind of remind me of like the Looney Tunes stuff. You know, these are cartoon animals who are doing just kind of crazy, wacky human things, and the kind of gags that are thrown in here is very Looney Tunes. So it throws back to a whole lot of stuff. It's like just a whole bunch of stuff thrown into a blender. Sometimes this really doesn't work, but other times it really does. And this movie really comes out as just a love letter to this kind of comedy, this kind of action-adventure storytelling, and again, this kind of heist, caper, over-the-top sort of spoof movies. The writing in this movie is really slick. It really gets down that really beautiful pacing, those really great set pieces that you would see in something like Ocean's 11, a movie that just feels really, really smooth. It's got that really snappy dialogue that you would expect from a Quentin Tarantino movie, but it doesn't feel like a ripoff. It doesn't feel like it's something that they've gone, let's just take this and let's do something else with it. No, it does, as I said, come out as a really beautiful love letter to this kind of filmmaking, and I think it really fits in with the genre just so beautifully. This is the kind of animated movie that I kind of never knew I wanted, but is finally here, and I'm like, why haven't we had anything like this before? Because quite honestly, this is something that it feels really quite unique to me. Like, I kind of think like, how has this never happened before? How have they never tried something like this before? Or have they tried things like this in the past maybe and it's never really kind of paid off? The closest thing that I can think is maybe something like Chicken Run, where you kind of do have that sort of those vibes of kind of hatching a plan and like a real adventure caper. The story here is so fantastic. I mean, not only is it exciting from beginning to end with so many great set pieces and just really great moments, but this is the story that has so much heart and soul to it. We know DreamWorks by now. They've been playing around with this formula since the beginning, where most of their movies are about these characters who are learning about their true selves and learning to embrace who they truly are. With the bad guys, we've got a group of bad guys who realize that maybe being bad isn't all it's cracked up to be, and maybe they should finally be the good guys. And especially with the lead character, Mr. Wolf, you get this really beautiful internal conflict with him where he's kind of battling with, do I want to be the bad guy or do I want to be the good guy and actually do good for other people? And I really appreciate when these animated movies throw in these kinds of themes like this. Not only do they help the kids learn these great lessons of life, but they give the adults just a little something dramatic to kind of cling to and really enjoy on a kind of more core narrative level. I think this movie ticks all the boxes just really beautifully. The animation here is absolutely stunning as well. We're getting a lot more movies now that are utilizing this kind of hybrid CG traditional animation where you've got characters in kind of a 3D animation and then the detailing is all done in sort of hand-drawn line work. I think it looks stunning. It's finally becoming something that we're seeing a lot more of and I really, really love it. I think it's great, particularly because it is such a cartoony film and because the books that the film is based on are so inherently kind of comic booky. It feels like they've taken this style and kind of translated it to the screen in 3D animation, but with that kind of comic booky kind of sketchy style as well. I think it works so well, but it does have this really kind of otherworldly feel to it where it does feel like you are really watching a cartoon as opposed to like an animated film. I think it just works so beautifully. And there's just very little that I can say about this that is negative. Usually I can try and pull something like maybe the movie was a little bit too long, or maybe, I don't know, I feel like this movie was kind of almost perfect. And I adored it. I loved it. I think this is easily up there with one of my favorite DreamWorks movies of all time. Certainly one of their best movies in a very long time. I don't know, maybe I'll be an outlier on there. I'm keen to see what everyone else thinks when I finally check the movie out. And at that, I'll be giving The Bad Guys a 4.5 out of 5. The Bad Guys is a charming love letter to the heist genre and Tarantino films, easily sporting DreamWorks' best ensemble cast for years. It's loaded with terrific performances and insanely enjoyable characters. With a wealth of excellent action, terrific humour, a gorgeously unique animation style, and a soulful story, The Bad Guys is an insanely enjoyable romp and easily DreamWorks' greatest film for a very, very long time. Ahead of the release of The Bad Guys, thanks to the incredible team over at Universal and DreamWorks, I was lucky enough to chat with some of the cast and crew of the film, including Mark Maron, Craig Robinson, Anthony Ramos, and Pierre Parafel. To check them out, you can click through the link above or at the end of the video. Once again, The Bad Guys opens in Australian cinemas on March 31st, 2022. It's open over in the USA on April 22nd and in the UK on April 1st. Thanks again to the incredible teams over at Universal and DreamWorks for providing me with a very early screening of this movie for the purposes of this review right here. Once again, thanks everybody out there for watching. I really hope you enjoy the movie. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Hey everyone, if you haven't yet, smash that big old subscribe button up on your screen to keep up to date with all my content and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media and please consider supporting me over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month for exclusive videos, early access content, and to get your name up on the screen. Thanks again for watching.